They was pressing me like an AMA. Feel like Gucci with a lemonade. Please excuse me if you feel away. In the metaverse and I'm getting paid.
What's up, everybody? Today's video asks the question, are VeVe and OMI scams? I've been buying VeVe NFTs and OMI for almost 3 years now, so I have a lot of experience with the project. And today I'm going to be looking through ECOMI's W's and L's, their wins and their losses, to see if this project should be considered a scam or a soft rug pull. First, let's take a look at the definition of the word scam. According to Oxford says that a scam is simply a dishonest scheme or a fraud, which is a pretty general definition. And let's check out one more. Dictionary.com says that a scam is a confidence game or other fraudulent scheme, especially for making a quick profit. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the history and performance of VeVe, ECOMI, and the OMI token.
Look at my phone, I got a Batman who lay. All my NFTs got sweat.
When I signed up for VeVe back in March of 2020, their NFTs were minted on the Go Chain blockchain using the Go 721 NFT format, or at least that's what we were told. However, after VeVe migrated to Immutable X, the founder and chief technology officer of Go Chain, Travis Reeder, has been seen on Twitter questioning whether VeVe NFTs were actually minted on the blockchain or not. It was back in November of 2021 when Travis Reeder was sent an email from a VeVe user that asked him, are VeVe collectibles actually minted on GoChain? Because he couldn't find any contract addresses for them. To which Reeder replied, I'm not sure what they're doing. From what I understand, they aren't actually standard NFTs. Back when this email was leaked on Twitter and people began to question it, Travis Reeder jumped into the conversation and replied, where are they? I can't find them, implying that VeVe NFTs were never actually minted onto GoChain. So if that's true, that's a big lie that was being told to get people to invest in the VeVe platform. And I don't see why the founder and CTO of GoChain would lie about something like that. Some people in the community have implied that Reeder could possibly be upset that VeVe did leave their blockchain and migrate to Immutable X. But if these digital collectibles were in fact minted on the GoChain blockchain as Go 721 contracts, then they should be viewable on the GoChain Explorer. But nobody has ever been able to find them on the Explorer, which is why Reeder replied, I can't find them. So this begs the question, are VeVe digital collectibles actually NFTs? There has to be proof of minting to call them NFTs, and I think it's clear that there is no proof from GoChain since the metadata can't be seen. However, VeVe is on Immutable X now, so they must be NFTs now, right? Well, in a recent graphic posted by Immutable X on Twitter, VeVe and OMI are not included in what they consider their ecosystem. Instead, other small amateur-looking projects are, such as SimWin Sports, which only has 10,000 followers on Twitter, a dead Discord, and probably very few active users. One of the top marketplaces on Immutable X right now is called Token Trove, and even Token Trove has commented on Discord and Twitter about how VeVe doesn't actually use the IMX technology. Just recently they tweeted, we think VeVe is a cool project, but IMX's general use case is a shared order book that all can use to give decentralized value to your assets. Since VeVe doesn't share the information outside of their own centralized order book, it doesn't allow for that. This makes me question whether or not VeVe's assets are ever minted at all. It costs money to mint all those tokens. If not, none of the first appearance characters on VeVe are truly blockchain FAs.
On me millionaire. Bullish on that cryptocurrency, yeah, you know it. Ever since the pandemic, we've been really.
In order to fund the VeVe project, ECOMI created the OMI token and presented it with a very bullish set of tokenomics that allowed the supply to be burnt every time a purchase in the VeVe store or market was made. However, since then, the VeVe team has changed the tokenomics of the OMI token several times to the point where I'm not even sure how it works anymore. Early on in the project though, ECOMI put out a video where they claimed that they accidentally locked away 98 billion OMI tokens for thousands of years due to a typo.
There was a slight typo in the first round, which resulted in a lockup of the tokens for many thousands of years. But ultimately, the upside of this is that there are now almost 115 billion OMI tokens effectively now out of circulation.
Some people speculate that due to this, the advisors, team members, and board members are now being paid from the business development wallet, which contained 32.8 billion OMI tokens. However, there are some people in the community who have researched the founders and team members' wallets, and it looks to them like they're still in control of the full 130.7 billion OMI tokens. So that has some people wondering, did they recover the originally locked tokens, or was that all a lie? Some people see those tokens getting locked as a bullish thing for the OMI token, and it might be. But the real question is, was that a typo that was caused by laziness, or a lie created by Ecomi to allow them to spend their OMI tokens from the business development wallet instead? If you've seen the recent CoffeeZilla video, you already know about Logan Paul's pre-planned pump and dump scheme with the OMI token.
Did you guys ever hear of when he promoted this crypto coin called OMI?
OMI, I think, is like another one.
Bro,
Am I good?
What are you saying? You have the same weird little coins that no one's ever heard of yet as me.
Let's go.
You have OMI?
Yeah, bro.
Shut the up.
But what people don't know is that it may have all been orchestrated by the Ecomi team. If you go back to when CoffeeZilla began exposing Logan Paul's crypto and NFT scams at the beginning of 2023, you'll see that a man named Chris Zachnoon exposed Ecomi's role in the OMI token pump and dump. In a reply to a CoffeeZilla tweet about Logan Paul, Christopher Zachnoon wrote that in 2020 he worked with a company called OMI. Founder of Pokemon was on the team, that's Alfred Kahn. He says that they contacted Logan to promote, which opened him to the world of crypto. This implies that the Ecomi team was involved in the Logan Paul pump and dump that we all know about. And if you dig into Zachnoon a little bit further, you'll see that it's true that he worked with Ecomi and Al Kahn, and still, to this day, his company, which is called DAOmaker, is a partner with Ecomi and VeVe. During the CoffeeZilla video, Logan Paul appears to be talking to Ben Gadinzi.
Yo, Ben, we need some more of these Ecomis.
Please, bro, please. EOD, if possible.
Yep.
Because we have an episode going tomorrow where we talk very highly of OMI, and I wouldn't be surprised if that caught some traction.
Let's go.
OMI a wagon.
Let's go.
And I'm not sure if Gadinzi was part of the VeVe and Ecomi team at the time that the pump and dump took place.
NFT money legit, yeah, it keep on going up. Family first on my list, they made me the man who I is. I'm too ultra, man, I'm so ultra.
Ecomi was, however, able to fulfill some of their early promises, such as big IPs like Disney and Marvel, and the ability to KYC and cash out your gems for real money. At one point, the VeVe market prices pumped like crazy, as we all remember, and usership grew immensely. At the time, VeVe claimed that they had over 2 million users and less than 1% bots purchasing the drops.
We have all of the hard data, and I've already spent the morning reviewing, and I can tell you guys 100% that over 95% of the ghost traps purchased are all purchased by individual accounts.
During this time, CEO Dan Crothers said many times in Twitter Spaces and AMAs that they see everything when referring to activity on VeVe. However, it wasn't long after that the community discovered that there was an exploit to get free gems taking place, and this was a big reason for the market prices pumping, not necessarily millions of users. I think it's important to note here that it was the community who discovered this exploit, not VeVe, despite the fact that they were warned about it on Telegram months early, and they apparently see everything, as Dan Crothers has said before. Around this time, VeVe had their first ever Marvel drop, the first appearance of the Spider-Man collectible. A lot of people know about the Spider-Man first appearances that disappeared from the store after the drop unexpectedly did not sell out. So what really happened? On the day of the first Marvel drop ever, Spider-Man first appearance, thousands of unsold Spider-Man sat in the store. That night though, the night of the drop, suddenly all of them began to be inexplicably purchased from the store. Not much was said about it at the time, but eventually those Spider-Mans were found in inactive wallets on Immutable X. There were thousands and thousands of these Spider-Mans in these wallets that hadn't done anything else since that Spider-Man drop, which seemed to be a little suspicious. When VeVe was questioned about it, their claim was that the Spider-Mans were repossessed from bots by VeVe.
And the straight answer is that our user will probably know that we have a lot of bot users in the past. So most of the account do and belong to the company that you have seen this activity going on. And it was because due to our success in intercepting bot users and basically we have placed them now into our dedicated wallets.
However, this explanation doesn't make sense for several reasons. First of all, it doesn't make sense for bots to be buying unsold products that are going for less than retail on the market. Secondly, there were many other drops that were extremely botted, for example, the first battle statue with Batman, but no other NFTs besides the ones we're going to talk about here in a second were repossessed by VeVe. And the third reason would be because when the Star Wars Obi-Wan drop also unexpectedly did not sell out, those same wallets purchased them from the store, which can be seen in the metadata. They weren't transferred from bot accounts, they were purchased. Clearly what happened is that VeVe bought up their own supply to either trick users or marvel into thinking the drop was sold out, then lied about it. And the fourth reason that this explanation doesn't make sense to me is because a couple months after the Spider-Man first appearance drop, VeVe had an AMA and even a Medium article where they talked about how less than 1% of drops go to the bots.
This is we have people in the company dedicated and devoted to making sure these bots stay out of the system, and it will probably never get there 100%, but we're always sitting around the 99% mark, which I think is perfectly fine from my point of view.
So only two things can be true in this situation. Either VeVe lied about what happened to the Spider-Man first appearance that appeared in the inactive wallets, or VeVe lied about less than 1% of the drops going to the bots.
Diamond hands, I don't hella bands, I invest money very often. Tiptoe with this crypto, feel like Jim Jones where I'm balling. Big whale, I make money moves in that open sea, you a dolphin.
One more thing I want to mention before we decide if VeVe and OMI are a scam is the OTC over-the-counter deal made earlier this year in May. Despite the fact that VeVe had previously told the community that non-public mint numbers would never see the light of day.
It wasn't even like a low mint. It was just, he's like, no, there's nothing.
No, those don't never see the light of day. Like those below 40s, they're fine.
VeVe sold non-public mint numbers to a user named DannyBoy LAC and then tried to cover it up by pre-minting a bunch of NFTs and pushing the transaction far down a Mutascan. When David Yu was asked about it, he pretended like he didn't know anything about it, as you can see here. But then, when the entire community began talking about it on Twitter, VeVe claimed it was David Yu who made the OTC deal all along, thinking that he was the most beloved member of the VeVe team, hoping that people wouldn't be as upset about it. It's things like this that make it really hard to trust the VeVe team. So, is VeVe and OMI a scam? VeVe Moonboys would argue that they are just moving more slowly than expected, but if this is your logic, you could say that about any scam. For example, the Nigerian prince who sent me an email hasn't made good on his promise to send me $10 million, but he might someday. On the other hand, if VeVe were to release a working MCP program and a better than expected VeVeverse experience, along with marketing by some of their big IPs like Disney, we could see another influx of users and a pump in prices. If that happened, we'd have to say it wasn't a scam all along, but only time will tell. When it comes to the OMI token, the tokenomics have changed multiple times, and despite being promised big exchanges for years, it still hasn't been listed on any. According to Google, the definition of a rug pull is when the team behind the project disappears. However, a soft or slow rug pull is when the team doesn't completely disappear, but continues to make promises without keeping them. Again, only time will tell. When looking at these definitions though, and trying to decide if this is a soft rug pull, one thing I keep in mind is that a year ago, at DesignerCon in November, VeVe released their roadmap for the VeVeverse, stating that Phase 1 would arrive in Q1 of 2023, with Phase 4 of the VeVeverse arriving in Q4 of the same year. As you probably know, it's been over a year, and we still haven't even reached Phase 1. When asked what the holdup was on the VeVeverse, VeVe says that they still have to finish redigitizing all of the assets. This means that VeVe didn't understand what was required to open the VeVeverse to users a year ago. This would seem to suggest that they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to building the VeVeverse, and they're just kind of winging it. Either that, or the roadmap presented last year at DesignerCon was a complete lie, and just another carrot that they dangled to keep users interested. Let me know what you think in the comments below this video, whether you think VeVe is a scam, a slow rug pull, or legit. If you followed my channel for long enough, you probably know that VeVe has been rude and disrespectful to me and my YouTube channel, so my opinion may be a little biased. Tell me your opinion. I'm interested to see what you all think. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next drop day live stream, which I do on weekends now, so anytime there's a VeVe drop on the weekend, come by and hang out with me on my channel. Later.